Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kind of hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending now. Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Okay. Hello and welcome back to Alternate Ending, the podcast, not the website. I am your replacement for Rob Jarasinski. I am Brennan Klein. I still don't have an official title, but I'm going to just go with the gay one for now. That's me. That's how you refer to me famously on all of our internal documents. Capital G, capital O. Here with me, as always, is our casual moviegoer, Carrie Jarasinski. How are you, Carrie?
I am superb. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I just got back from a vacation. Rob apparently left, so we're just switching out.
It's good. You look refreshed. You look
Thank
really
you.
Refreshed. Aside from you, Tim and I are falling apart over here. So
No, things are totally fine. But speaking of the name you just mentioned, we also have critic in residence Tim Brayton. How you doing over there, Tim?
Yo.
did you just say yo?
Well, Brennan's switching things up, so I thought I'd switch things up.
Yeah, you want to?
We didn't
you
do
wanna
the whole
take
thing
a-
about we're discovering bad movies, one good movie at a time.
I see. I think you dated yourself by saying yo. You're automatically in your
What's up in
40s.
his house, y'all?
No
Oh my
one has
God.
ever said
Alright,
that. No one.
Look,
That's original.
If anyone could date himself, I think Tim would.
Mhm.
Hey.
Very, very true.
Yes, no, you're the gay one. I am, however, the narcissist who would like to fuck myself. That is very true.
Those are very different things.
No, they are,
but
entirely.
but the Venn diagram does overlap a lot of the time.
A little bit. But no, I'm doing good. And yes, and as everyone I'm sure remembers from last week's episode, Carrie and I tried our very hardest to light the website on fire, to destroy all beautiful things in the world, and the adults are in the room now, and we are not in charge of the episode. We're just here to be a couple of
Participants.
idiotic circus clowns.
Yeah.
Brennan does all the work. So thank you, Brennan, for stepping in.
You're absolutely welcome. I'm happy to help. I am honestly not shocked is a strong word, but I am very pleasantly surprised that your Crimes of the Future episode went as smoothly as it did.
Really? Well, there was some editing.
I have not had the stomach to actually listen to the
No,
version of the episode,
never.
So I will trust Rob and Brennan. that it went well.
I agree, Brennan. To be fair, after it was over, I was horrified. So I went to Rob and I was like, okay, when you're in the editing process, I want you to listen to every minute of it, because I just want you to sort of like have a pulse check on when things get weird. And he's like, what does that mean? How am I going to know if it's weird? And I was like, oh, you'll know when you get there. So he did the full listen by listen, and there was like a 20-minute chunk in there where I was like, just snip that right out. That'd be great. Some just general confusion, I'd call it.
You know, cutting out stuff like that, that's how you keep the promise of the live show alive. So you had to have been present there for the live theatrical experience to get the full thing.
That is what we are doing. From a marketing perspective, that was our intention, was to keep it weird and then cut it out to be mysterious.
Exactly.
That was what we were doing.
It's
right?
exclusive.
Yes. So again, we both have a huge sense of relief and weight off our shoulders knowing that you're here, Brennan, though. So we very much appreciate it.
Thank you. And in the interest of professionally steering this podcast, we do have a topic today. With Lightyear buzzing into theaters this past weekend and summarily being trounced by Jurassic World Dominion in the box office.
And I just want to point out, it has been a long time since Rob has used a terrible pun.
It felt good.
As you just said, Lightyear buzzing its way into theaters. So thank you. I missed that.
Yeah.
It feels
Thank
like
you.
It's an incomplete part
Waves
the
of
show.
relief. Yes. Carry on. Keep talking to us.
But yes, that movie has the mystifying premise of being the childhood movie that Andy apparently would have watched and loved, and thus inspired the cartoon that Buzz Lightyear is in, inspiring the toy that is Buzz Lightyear. It is a real logistical nightmare.
And to be fair, and I haven't seen the film. I don't think anyone else here has seen the film. My understanding is that the text is that the toy is from the movie. The meta text, after people started complaining, well, that doesn't make sense, was that they have now announced on social media, well, it's actually the movie inspired the cartoon, inspired the toy. It's all very, you need to like be pulling sources from multiple media. It's all very complicated and stupid.
Yeah, it's like a real J.J. Abrams kind of like web promotion multimedia experience.
Like you need to be reading the Cloverfield website in order to understand the plot. Exactly.
I spent so much time on that fucking Slusho website that gave me nothing, and I don't understand why anybody cared about that.
To this day, my only interaction with the Cloverfield mythos is what you can see in the 3 Cloverfield features. So I feel good about that choice.
That is a very good choice because it doesn't make any sense, so it's fine. And I think what you learn if you did all of that stuff is that the monster was under the water, which you would have learned in the first 5 fucking minutes of the movie anyway. Because of Lightyear.
With Buzz Lightyear or Andy's favorite toy, et cetera, and I derailed you after you were trying to get us on the rail. So continue, Brennan, please.
That is okay. Because of whatever the fuck Lightyear is doing, we are talking about top 5 childhood favorites. And I'm really curious if we even lined up on what the premise is. So Carrie, I want to hear, like, what were your criteria for approaching this list?
Oh boy. Okay, so here's what I did. I built it around the criteria that I would not have Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade on this list, even though I wanted to. So by doing that, I had to define what childhood meant in terms of what age. For Tim, I know that started at 3. For me, I'm defining that as 10. So this has to be 10 or under when I saw this movie.
That is actually exactly with my age range that I chose as well.
Perfect. Did you start to feel when you were 10/5th grade, if those line up? I felt pretty adult once I hit 5th grade. I felt like I was starting to understand the world and its complexities. Did you also feel no longer a kid when you were 10?
Totally. I remember making a joke and someone saying that it was a very cynical joke and feeling very proud of myself around that age.
I could see that.
Yeah.
And for you, Tim, 3 again, 3, 4.
I mean, my official cutoff is high school. Like these have to be movies that I loved before high school. And I don't remember when I felt like I was an adult, but I was wrong because teenagers are dumb shitheads. So I was not really an adult until I was 22.
Okay.
Regardless of how I felt at the time, but I am counting the cutoff as high school. Now that being said, these are actually old films that I loved before I was 10.
Okay, that's fair. The other part or dimension of this for me is it had to shape me in some sort of way or dimension. So I've classified each of my movies as how I was shaped by this movie to who I am today. Oh. And then I had to have seen it more than 10 times. And I realize now I was the most formative probably at 12 and 13 because that's when Independence Day came out. But had to exclude it. So these are all ones that are pre-10, 10 or under.
I just realized if 10 or under, that means we're not going to hear you talking as an adult woman about how Devon Sawa as a minor made you wet, and I'm disappointed.
I also purposefully built that into my criteria as well,
good call.
So that I didn't have to talk about that. Wait, which one are we talking about? Which movie? Which Devon Sawa?
Devon Sawa, period.
Because it happened twice. Because Casper and then Now and Then.
I'm just saying, in general, you talk about Devon Sawa and it makes me feel like we're going to have cops burst through the door.
Yeah. Yeah, there could, and actually I look back at Casper, I was, I think 12 or 13 when Casper came out too. And I mean, again, that was formative, but it couldn't be on my list.
Right.
So.
And I will say for me, it's more just like these are the movies I vaguely remember loving the most when I was, 9, 10, 8, whatever age. My memories of that period are foggy, to be clear, but I remember loving all of these. There was a little bit of which were the VHS tapes I checked out the most frequently from the public library.
VHS, let's pause. Brennan, VHS tapes were like...
I had VHS.
Oh, okay,
they were
okay.
chunky and black.
I had those big
very
Disney
thin.
clamshells.
Those Disney clamshells. I got a couple Disney clamshells on my list.
I do too. I can't wait to see what clamshell you have.
In one case, we recorded it off of the Disney Channel. We did not buy the commercially released VHS tape.
Wait, you pirated it on a VHS?
No, that's not piracy.
Oh, well, I remember I used to try and put it in and hit record to record what was on TV.
Yeah.
That was allowed?
I don't know if it's allowed.
I thought I was getting away with something.
It's just that's what the VHS tapes are for. You record
Okay.
things that are on TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like you record your stories.
I don't feel bad. I didn't. This is the first time I've ever told anybody I did it because I thought I was going to get arrested. Okay.
But everybody did that. I didn't because, I'm a baby, but I had VHSs.
I do think at some point we need to each announce our birth year so that we can have the correct frame of context for when we were all 10, because it is not the same.
That's true.
Yeah.
What are you, Brennan?
I
93?
was born in 94, so
94.
my picks go through 2004.
2004 was
I
like
hate you.
yesterday.
I
2004.
want to find you. I want to set you on fire, and I want to piss on the ashes of your corpse. That's what I want to do.
2004 is like yesterday.
I was like on the street looking for a job in 2004.
I was working at the custard shop by then for sure. Or no, wait, I was in college. Oh my gosh.
I wasn't even in college.
Oh, that's
I
right.
was post-college.
That's right. Were you working at Whole Foods at the time?
No, I didn't work at Whole Foods until 2010.
Oh, okay. There's a gap of time in there.
There's a gap
So
of time.
you are 82.
I'm 81.
You are?
Tail end of
You're only
81.
1 year older than me.
Tail end of 81.
Oh, tail, because it's December. It's December. And I am 83. So everything has to be 93 or under.
Got it. A couple of my movies fall within that range, or yeah, two of them do. So I think we might have some overlap.
I'm excited.
But yeah, one thing that Tim kind of brought up is that like this list is gonna be kind of challenging to talk about in certain aspects because they are movies I remember really loving and watching a lot as a kid, but not necessarily ones that I have adult opinions or really particularly strong memories about. So I'm curious how this conversation will go.
We shall see.
We
Before
shall.
we get started, though, I just can I share a little story of what happened to me? And it's in a movie-going story, so it's on brand. It's part of it's a good story.
No, you
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
Good story. so I went to see a movie this week
You did.
and I liked it.
Which
Congrats.
movie?
Benediction.
Benediction. That
The-
sounds good.
It was on my my summer anticipated list.
Oh,
It's the gay Catholic poet who was very sad because of World War One. That movie.
Mhm.
Crushing the last shot of the movie. I put this, I think, even in my letterbox review. I knew it was going to be the last shot of the movie because the second that it cut to this shot, I thought to myself, if the movie ends here, it will be the saddest possible way to end this movie that I have seen this entire film's running time. So that's probably where it's going to end, and it did.
did you cry?
Ooh.
I didn't cry. It hurt too much to cry. It was just like my entire body was
Oh.
just like exhausted and tired, and I had no cry in me.
Oh no.
It is a film very much about how once you have seen some of the horrible things of trench warfare, a part of you will never come back from it, and you will always be tormented by that until you die.
And I have to watch this.
Great picture. You're gonna love it, Carrie. You're gonna
You
get 5 stars.
are
But anyway,
Terrible.
so because we live in a god awful, shitty flyover state, this movie played for 1 week here in Madison. It's gone now, Carrie. So you missed it.
Yeah, how am I
So
going to see this?
I don't know. And
Why
if
didn't you
don't
tell me?
If you don't see it, then when we get to the wrap up at the end of the summer, I will have a perfect score because neither you nor Rob will be able to bring down my average. So it's great. So this is what I'm looking for.
Oh,
But played at Madison one week. Lousy screening times. So I went with a buddy of mine, another art film bro, who was like, yeah, let's go see that movie about the gay Catholic war poet man. He was like, yeah, fuck yeah, bro. So we went and did that.
is that what he said?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, you put on your
Okay.
backwards baseball caps and went to the movies.
Exactly. Or our like baggy New York Yankees jerseys. And anyway, so the screening that he could get to, because there were 2 screenings a day, one was at like noon and one was at 9:50 at night. So we went to the 9:50 screening. Because there had been so little interest in this film, they had canceled the screening.
Oh
Oh, no.
no.
So we are there and it's like there's no movies. It's like, okay, well, let's immediately hop on the Fandango and buy tickets for tomorrow's screening. at
Okay.
9:50. So we did that. We leave. We come back the following night at 9:50.
Wait, you left?
Well, there was nothing else to see.
There was no other movie.
I wasn't going to sit through Jurassic World 3 again. He wasn't going to sit through it a first
I
time.
would never leave. I'd figure out something else to do.
Well, we
We
went.
didn't. Okay.
We didn't.
Sorry. Carry on.
So we went back the next night. This is the night of the terrible storms that tore across the upper Midwest.
You were traveling during that?
We
It's so
waited until
bad.
it was over.
Okay.
We waited until it was over, but there were still tree branches down, all sorts of water all over the ground, what have you. We got to the theater, and there's like 8 cop cars outside the theater. And so my immediate thought is, did the theater get like hit by a tornado? What's going on? no such luck. Turns out, well, we didn't know what happened first. So we get there and it's very clear that the cops are not letting people into the theater, but we're like, we're going to just pretend that we're dumb. We're just going to mosey on up.
Wait, so you tried? Okay, keep going.
Yes.
Keep going.
So first off, they were blocking off the main driveway, but we were like, aha, but there's a back alley that they're not blocking off. So if we go up the back alley, we'll look real shady as we're like driving around the backside of the theater while these cops are, I don't care, I want to see my fucking gay Catholic poet movie. And so we park and there's these kids getting stoned in the parking garage.
What's happening?
And so I'm like, I asked these kids, even though they're clearly, unreliable narrators, what's going on here? And one of them's like, I think somebody got shot. I don't know. And so like, okay, great. Someone's lying dead. I don't care.
But still, how do I get to the back door?
To see goddamn Peter Capaldi as an angry gay Catholic poet. That's all I want. That's the only thing my life is focused on in this moment. So we get to the front of the theater and my friend sort of very casually asks the cops like, hey, is everything okay? Can we go in? And the cops like, shit, we got everything cleared up. You should be able to go in. So we go and the doors are locked and we both just start like rattling at the door like we're refugees pounding at an iron fence trying to crawl in. And the manager comes out and says, we're so sorry, the theater is closed. And he was like, well, I have tickets for a show. And she said, well, you can just call and get them refunded. It's like, that's not the point. We want to see this damn movie.
You said this as all of this chaos is out. Okay.
We didn't say that. So it turns out no one was shot. Some kids stole a car and turned it over, like they flipped a car on the highway, ran out of the car to the nearest building, which was the theater.
Wow.
And like 17 cops came because no one knew, do the kids have guns? What the hell's going on? And turns out there's like a like plague of car theft in Madison.
Yeah.
I did not know about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like apparently people just keep stealing cars. But so this all sucked. And eventually we were able to go the following day. He basically like ended his class early to make sure we could get to see the goddamn movie on its last screening in Madison. But the upshot is that it was a terribly sad movie that made me feel like my heart had been squeezed in a vice. It was all worthwhile.
I saw this on the news and I was telling Tim on the way here, Brennan, that like I'm in a bad place where I know it's important to know what's going on in the world, but where I'm like, you know what? I'm better off if I don't. And so we turned on the news. I see Marcus, which is the theater that's 5 minutes from our house. Yeah, it's right next to our house. I see police cars all over the place. And I was like, boop, I'm just going to turn this off. I actually just don't want to know.
No one died.
No one, well, I assumed somebody did.
To be very clear, if I had to step over their corpse to see this fucking movie, I would have done so.
So here is the problem in this entire story.
I had to try 3 times to see a movie. That is a problem. I agree.
If you see something like that happening, you go the other way. The fact that you were still trying to break into the theater, even though it was surrounded by police, is poor judgment. That is really poor judgment
on the part of the managers of the Marcus Point Theater of Madison, Wisconsin, to have only had 2 screenings a day of benediction, is I think was poor judgment.
Oh my gosh. Don't ever do that again.
I hope I don't have to do it again. Let's put it that way.
Yikes. We're living in weird times, Brennan. Really weird times. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it sounds like a real ordeal. Something that if it had... Yeah?
What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, if it had happened in your childhood, it might be traumatizing.
I was going to go with, let's think about things that are less traumatizing, like things we loved in our childhood.
Exactly.
Both were really, really good.
Both were really good.
Solid.
But somehow they both become bad because now we're doing a thing about it.
I see that.
Well, there's no way to segue without saying that it's a segue. That is indeed the rule. So yeah, Carrie, what's your...
That was a weird moment in culture when we thought, hey, it's going to be these like weird motorized scooters. That's the way of the future. And everybody was like, yeah, that is the way of the future. It's like, what was wrong with us? That was fucking stupid.
And we all loved Paul Blart.
Well,
I didn't.
Is that going to be on your list? I think that came up for 2004, you fucking infant.
No, it came out in like 07 or 08. I went to a pool party where we watched Paul Blart,
so you were
and I even hated it at
Paul
that
Blart
age.
Came out.
I was.
God damn it.
It was the most up to that point, the most miserable movie experience I'd ever had.
Good. I'm pleased.
Oh my gosh. Do you want to know what is the best movie experience I've ever had? Well, the 5th best.
Yes, please.
Movie experience I've ever had. This movie coming in at my number 5 led to my imagination. So I saw this movie maybe when I was 9 or 10. This to me was before I was aware that there were like effects in movies. So everything felt like it was practical. People flying, food flying, fairies flying. All of these things felt like possibilities.
Okay.
Like, how did we shrink Julia Roberts? I don't know, but we did for the purposes of my 9-year-old brain. And so this was the beginning of sort of my look at fantasy into the world. And this is 1990 something's Hook.
I think it's just right at 1990.
Is it
It
90?
might be 91.
So I must have been like 7 or 8. To me, this was like, how do I get into this movie? How do I become a lost boy? I wanted to be like in the food fight scene with both of them. And this also, I would say, was my gateway into one of my favorite actors of all time, Robin Williams.
So that's Dustin.
Remember when we talked about Hook like 3 years ago,
I do.
and I did not know that was Dustin
That's Dustin
Hoffman
Hoffman.
as Hook? I do now. I do now.
I was old enough at the time I saw this to know that that was an extraordinarily good makeup job because it did not in any way resemble Dustin Hoffman.
Yes.
And that was sort of my big takeaway from the film.
Is this on anybody else's list?
We're going to have zero overlap.
No, I think we have
just
one.
that back.
I think we have one for sure.
Let's see.
You said a word earlier that I was like, oh, it's on my
I
list.
don't know what word I said, but I'm excited.
I'm not going to say it because then it's a giveaway.
Okay.
I'll refer to it later. Brennan, do you also love this movie?
No.
In what way?
I saw it once as a kid and it made zero impression on me. I have only heard bad things, which has led me to not revisit it. I did meet the guy who played Rufio while I was a PA on a web series once, though, so he was nice.
Is he incredibly attractive as an adult?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, because he was back
He's
then
an
as
actor in the
well.
movie. Of course, he's incredibly attractive. They don't let.
He was a
they don't
kid.
let uggos be in movies.
Yeah, there were those Lost Boys were a
But
spectrum.
If he's still acting, he's attractive. Is I think the way to think about it.
That's fair.
And I will say, Carrie, I also had a very high level of fondness for this film in childhood, and revisited it, knowing when I revisited it that it was going to go badly, and it did.
Yeah, I mean, I just let that all go. What I do when I watch these movies is I just transport myself back into 8-year-old me, and I can do that pretty easily. So I do that for this movie, and I still liked it when I watched it recently. But that's my number 5.
How about you, Tim? What do you got?
I just want to start out my list by making an honest reckoning. Any real list of my top 5 childhood movies would have fairly high on it Raiders of the Lost Ark. But because I just 2 episodes ago talked about how Raiders of the Lost Ark made a huge impression on me as a child when we were talking about our scariest, I was like, I can't.
Mhm.
It really bothers me when we're repetitive like that. Yeah.
So I'm not putting Raiders on my list. Instead, I'm giving you my numbers 1 through 6, let's say. And so my 6th highest film as a child is the one film here that I have not revisited, period. And I think that's the right choice, frankly. Because it is a film that sort of, in general, millennials online have created a lot of mystique around this movie and around the particularly uncomfortable, unpleasant question: did they murder the fuck out of cats and dogs to make this film? And the film in question is a 1986 Japanese film that was redubbed in 1989 and released in the United States as The Adventures of Milo and Otis.
I love Milo and Otis.
Which is a very, very corny and sweet. And I think if I rewatched it now, I'd find it insufferably cloying.
You would love it.
I
You'd
bet
love
I
it.
wouldn't. I bet I
Yeah,
Oh, your
you
heart would grow 10 sizes.
I saw it about 2 or 3 years ago. You would definitely find it repulsive, but it's a cute movie.
I mean, it is what it is. I
Oh.
again, going by the how many times did I check this out from the library rule?
Yes. Oh,
So goddamn often.
So
Still
many.
remember the songs. Don't remember many of the shots. I still remember some of the pieces of music. And again, it's Dudley Moore again in the American recut. It's Dudley Moore narrating the interior monologue of a cat and dog, just bumblefucking their
Just
way
living
across
life.
the Japanese countryside. Cat doing such fun things as encountering toxic snakes, jumping off of cliffs. It's fine. The cat's fine.
Yeah.
The cat's fine. They didn't just keep chucking kittens off a cliff to film this movie.
do you think that happened?
I think it didn't not happen. That is an ongoing internet rumor that there's like a pile of kitten skulls somewhere off a cliff in Japan.
Oh no, I don't want to go in with that lens at all.
Well, that's why I'm not revisiting.
Okay.
Mhm.
Maybe if I rewatched it, I'd be like, oh, well, you can totally see where that's the match good editing.
Yeah.
But also, there's not animal cruelty laws in Japan, so maybe there's not.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Good
so
pick.
there is that, but even in the non-stunt sequences, there is some excellent animal acting.
I would kind of actually like to see the original Japanese version of it.
Oh hell yeah, you should do that if anything.
Yeah.
All right, Brennan.
Yeah.
Let's see if we line up. Give us your number 5.
Well, we won't line up because of your criteria.
Oh.
I'd be
It's
actually
gonna be like goddamn X-Men 2 or something.
not this one. So I think this movie was exactly designed that probably neither of you watched it at the exact age that you were. It's a 2002 Sean Levy joint. Everybody loves him. Big Fat Liar, starring Frankie Muniz and Amanda Bynes.
I've
I
never
have
seen
still
that.
not seen this one.
No.
Okay, well, real quick. Frankie Muniz plays a Ferris Bueller type. He's a consummate liar who's trying to get away with stuff. He writes a screenplay or for some sort of writing assignment for a school. Somehow it gets into the hands of big shot movie producer Paul Giamatti. And he ends up stealing Frankie Muniz's screenplay to adapt into his new movie. So he and Amanda Bynes, they fly off to Hollywood or sneak off to Hollywood in some way. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie, probably 18 years. But yeah, so basically they get revenge on him through a variety of pranks, including putting dye in his pool to turn his skin blue, and gluing his, little annoying Bluetooth earpiece to his ear, because that was really new and people were really using those all the time. This movie I really love. There's a big chase in the backlot of Universal Studios back at the time they were doing that all the time. It was the first ever trying on outfits montage I'd ever seen, so that was a real watershed moment for me. And just generally it's like a larger than life, very silly movie that I enjoyed at that age.
And you're how old are you at this time? Did you
In 2002 I was
so you're
8.
8ish. Okay. I'm trying to think if my kids would like this. They like those kind of antique-y movies like that.
Totally. Like if they like the kind of pranks at the beginning of the Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap, that's probably kind of operating at that level.
Okay. I'm gonna add it to the list for the kids. We're always looking for those. That sounds good one, and I've never heard of it.
I think I might have heard of it when you said Frankie Muniz. I was like, I think I do. remember.
Muniz?
I don't fucking know.
It was like the nasal spray.
Yes.
No.
No,
When you
he's
said
in multiple.
The young gentleman in question.
Mhm.
I think that it triggered something.
Okay.
Obviously, not the ability to pronounce a surname correctly.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll at least have heard of my next one, but first let's go to Carrie's. What's your number 4?
Okay, this is where things start to get really good. I actually think this might be on Brennan's list. I think there's a possibility that it's on Brennan's list if he's really doing a deep cut here.
Okay.
This is the movie for me that exemplified team and teamwork. It was the first movie that I ever had like the chills experience that you get as a kid when you watch a movie. And still to this day, any sort of like team video, people coming together, if it's tied to music, still get chills. I can tear up like in a snap doing it. So this is my like inspo teamwork movie. And every single time they would say, what did they say? Where they got in the V. I can't think of what they would say.
What kind of movie were you watching if they were getting in the V?
They got in the V. Oh wait, they were like V, V, V. No, that's not what they said.
What the shit is happening?
It was like, it's bothering me that I can't think of what they said because it was
because right now you're just like they keep trying to go in the V. And
They
my
do.
head is going to a place.
They
that is
do.
not where-
they have to work together to go into the V.
I bet they did.
They did.
I bet
It's a
bet
whole
they
group
were-
thing.
Yeah,
it is a group
it's
thing. Gosh
like a
darn it.
train of
Gosh.
people just trying to get in that V.
I can't think of it now. But they do it as they're chanting ducks. Ducks. Ducks.
Oh.
This is 1992's Mighty Ducks with Emilio Estevez, the original. And I watched this so many times, and this was my just like, I want to be a part of a team so that people can I want to be in a V,
Mhm.
I can't think they say something.
around
You waited
92
till
is when I-
college,
when I
though.
first wanted to get into a V.
I see where you're going now. I see
1993.
what I've walked into. And I
get fucking long
It's
enough.
a while. It's a while. But that time I got it, the 5th time. They say something that like rallies everybody together, but like audiences cheering, music, slow motion, Emilio Estevez like going left and right with his hockey stick. Stop. Just leave it there. Just leave that one.
What?
Leave it there.
You haven't even said anything that has given me the thought.
Okay. Oh, sure. Okay. I just again, I even get chills just thinking about the Mighty Ducks now. It's not on your list, Brennan?
No, I actually haven't seen it.
You
Although
will love it.
I actually don't think I haven't seen it either.
yeah, I
I
did.
don't like sports movies. I never liked
Yeah.
It's not a
sports
sports
movies as a child.
movie. It's
Come
about
on.
It seems
team.
to be a sports movie.
Oh man.
Sports team. It's a sports team. Anyway.
Sports players.
Fair,
I
fair.
did grow up in Anaheim where we have the Mighty Ducks hockey team that was created to tie in with the movie, I believe, which is just such a weird thing that exists.
Mhm.
But
Wasn't there also a cartoon about the Mighty Ducks, but they were also like crime-fighting aliens,
It's possible.
but they were also hockey players while doing that?
Maybe.
that makes
maybe.
a lot of sense.
Since the 90s.
So good. I'm gonna join Patreon and have you guys watch this because you
Okay.
guys will love it. And you're all gonna be like, hey, I also want to be a part of a hockey team starting now.
I find a low probability of that happening, but I appreciate your optimism.
You won't know till you
Yeah.
watch.
Carrie,
So,
did you know there's a Mighty Ducks show on Disney Plus that has Emilio Estevez returning?
no, it's out now or it's
Yeah,
coming?
it's out.
It's been out. It's been out for a bit.
No. Is it good?
Probably not.
I didn't watch it. Why would I
It's
start
you're
with
not-
that?
Why would it be good?
Why would you watch it?
It has Emilio
I don't
Estevez in
know.
it, and it's 21st century. Why would it be good?
He's gotta be like
Yeah.
65 now, isn't he?
He's I don't know how old he is, but he's not a good actor.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I don't know what I will. I might just keep going and rewatching this one, but that was my number 4 and I feel solid about it. Everybody that's listening right now is looking around like, yes, yes, yeah. They're chanting for me right now.
They're
That's
chanting
what's happening.
V,
Is he trying to
V.
get that
V. V. It's gonna come to me as soon as this episode's over and I'm gonna be embarrassed. But
I'm excited.
let's move on
I
from
want to
it.
watch the movie just to figure out what the hell you're going
It
on
is. They get a play, they have to come together. It'll come to me. It'll come to me.
Well, speaking of teams,
Ooh.
Oh.
mine is about a team of orphans in a hostile world
Mm-hmm.
who are just trying to band together and survive the plague of unfortunate violence and upheaval surrounding them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to find a beatific green valley where everything will be better.
You
And
talking
in
about Sound of Music?
No,
Oh.
Are you talking about The Land Before Time?
I'm talking about The Land Before Time.
Ah.
This is a movie that doesn't even have to pass the library test. We owned it on VHS.
Ooh.
I pre-ordered that shit. I was super excited for it. Very clearly remember the day that we went to go see it at the mall in Lakehurst, the Lakehurst Mall Theater in Waukegan, Illinois. Very big day for me. Very, very exciting. I was in my dinosaur phase back then. I was just about 7 years old. This came out in I think November
Mm-hmm.
of '88, so I was not quite 7 yet. But yeah, it's a movie that I've seen a couple times as an adult because it's animated. I do animated films, and it doesn't really hold up. But there's bits of it I admire. It's Don Bluth directed it. He's obviously a very important and interesting animator. The movie's kind of weird and schmaltzy and all over the place, but it is super short, which was always an appeal to me as a child. Even now, as it's an appeal as an adult, I like movies that I could be in and done in like an hour and 10 minutes, and this is about an hour and 10 minutes long. And it has a hella good, scary T-Rex, and I loved movies that freaked me out as a kid. I loved anything that had something scary and weird in it, and this certainly did. And yeah, it's dinosaurs. It's fun, cool dinosaurs from a period before we had Jurassic Park, so we had to make do with whatever sort of dipshit cartoon dinosaurs we could get our hands on. And I watched that tape a lot.
So this movie came in on the website. I did comment as an option. I did comment that the person was a monster. So I'll share that same sentiment with you, Tim. This is the only movie I think in my whole life that I've ever walked out on. This was.
Were you just that offended by its paleontological inaccuracies?
It was too sad.
That's very sad. His mom died.
His mom.
This isn't even like a Disney where like his mom has died in the background. We watch her die.
We
we
literally.
watch the breath leave her body
Yeah.
as she
I'm
passes
gonna.
away.
I'm gonna have a Titanic moment here. and
this-
just start
this seriously
crying
makes
on the
it better.
air.
Like when Disney has Bambi's mom dies, but she's off camera, so it's like we don't see it. We don't
Yeah.
we don't get that sense of like her shuddering
So let's
final
actually
moments
not
as her
talk about it
body
too much because
shuts
I do
down.
feel myself tearing up. But I
and then the baby dinosaur is like, why are you dead, mother? And he like tries to nudge her with his head, and she doesn't move because she's a dead corpse.
You're gonna feel guilty because
Cooling off.
you're gonna see a tear come down.
What do you think?
Right now
trying to
I'm
make
welling.
happen?
I'm welling, but there's gonna see. Look at here it comes. Here it
You know
comes.
what
I'm gonna
else is
cry.
sad?
Yeah. Don't. I
Read
can't.
the Wikipedia page for what happened to the actress who played
Oh.
Beth.
I'm never doing that.
Yeah, no, that Carrie, yeah,
Nightmare
don't do that at
shit.
all. It is
Really? Ugh.
grim.
Okay, I'm not for number one, I'm not going to do that. Number two, that exact moment you're describing is when I left as a child. I'm sure
Because the T-Rex.
that's when you said there was a T-Rex. I'm like, really? I don't
The T-Rex
remember
had
that.
not yet shown up by the point of the movie.
Isn't it the first like 10
6
minutes?
minutes into the movie.
I know. I was like, as a kid, however old I was, 6 or 7. I think that was my first, like you said, I think it was exactly that. It's always off camera, off site. You're supposed to like infer that somebody's died. But this was the first one where it like
It's
actually
confronting
happened.
It's
It confronts
with
it.
these brutalities.
And I was like, you know what? No, I'm
Well, I will loan
leaving.
you the Blu-ray so you can see the
Too
the
sad.
65 minutes of the film you have not yet seen.
Oh my gosh. Too
You're
tragic.
You're a grown-ass woman. You can deal with it.
I don't know that I could. Then I had to go to therapy, not from specifically for that movie, but then when I hit like 5th grade, I had to go to therapy, and I think Land Before Time came up. I was just like, I mean, it was a broader spectrum, but man, that was a hard watch. Again, this is what shaped you, Land Before Time.
I mean, it's not like she's suffering. It's not like gore. She passes.
Yeah, but you
peacefully.
see her literally
Yeah, but
like
it's not like-
last
it's not
breath.
like she's like gushing blood out of the
No.
remains of her face.
But her nice plump like middle section is just sort of like
It's kind of
slowly
slumps,
some.
yes.
Oh gosh, I don't know why I'm talking about this anymore. Brennan, carry on.
Yeah,
It's too
yeah.
sad.
So, well, yeah, no, I also like this movie as a kid. You would always catch me saying "never eat a talking tree," nope, 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 all the time.
Yep.
So cute.
But yeah, my number 4 is actually also a Don Bluth movie. So in the late 90s, Fox Animation Studios made a film that so perfectly copied the Disney formula that people still tend to think that they made it. That film is called Anastasia, and this movie I'm talking about is its follow-up prequel, Bartok the Magnificent.
You filthy scumbag. What is wrong with
Wait,
you?
do you have it on your list?
No.
Oh, why is it filthy?
It's terrible.
Oh,
This is one that I have the least memory of, but I watched so many times. But I do have drilled into my brain his little song. It's like
How does it go?
Sing it for us,
Bartok
please.
the Magnificent. He's undeniably, reliably magnificent.
keep going. I need more.
That's what I got. That's what I got. But yeah, so this follows the albino bat Bartok before he starts hanging out with Rasputin in the movie Anastasia. Andrea Martin
200
plays,
years before that, no less.
yeah. Andrea Martin plays Baba Yaga. She's terrorizing Russia. Bartok is this scam artist who has been hired to rescue a kidnapped princess. Jennifer Tilly is there as a character named Pilaf. She has one of the greatest voices of our generation. So I'm glad that, she gets hired. And that's what I have to say about Bartok the Magnificent.
And I will certainly say, the Andrea Martin of it is good. It should be better than it is based on the vocal talent. Like it's got actually kind of a really good cast.
Oh yeah, you've also got Catherine O'Hara, Tim Curry,
O'Hara, so you got
Kelsey
something
Grammer.
about SCTV, and you got Kelsey Grammer. I've reviewed it. Go check out my review. I bristled. I did not care for it.
How many stars did you give it?
Not many.
Okay, a couple.
Did you first see it as an adult?
I first saw it during the pandemic.
Oh, that's not the time.
No, it's not. First off, I could only have first seen this movie as an adult because I am not a goddamn infant. Like
Oh yeah, you would have been 18 when it came
I
out.
would
That's
have
not.
been
That's
18.
also not the time.
Still meets your criteria though. High school,
It
you
was
could be.
before high school.
Oh, okay.
It had
Okay.
to be something that I saw before.
Before high
Treasure.
school. Okay. That's fair.
But no, I'm
Okay.
glad that you've shared with us your repulsive shame, Brennan. Thank you for.
Yeah,
for
no,
admitting
that's.
publicly
I
you
try to
enjoyed
be
that
really
movie.
open and honest with you here on this
It's a vigorously
podcast.
bad movie.
I do too, which is why I'm also. Is it
If
up
I'm
to
not
me?
mistaken, I think that might actually be the last thing Don Bluth ever directed.
Oh, really?
No.
Is
Pat
it
Nagin-
Dawn
Pat
or
Nagin-
Don?
I pronounce them the same way.
Is it a man?
Yes,
But not that
it's a
that
man.
matters. You could have a woman named Don,
My particular regional dialect is such that Dawn and Dawn are the same pronunciation.
but it is
It is the male.
the male Don.
Don.
Okay.
I think and I'm mistaken. It's not the last thing directed. Type name.
All right, are you guys ready for my shame? Am I at my number 3?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right, here comes my shame. Okay. This is one I actually have talked about this before, but I had to be true to myself because I'm going to be honest. But this is the one where I thought I was getting away with something. Like I thought I would get in big trouble if anybody knew. It was super scary, very scary. There was swears in it. It was graphic. I think they used the P word. I think there were all these things in there
What?
that my parents.
Was he?
Which one?
Which one?
The
Penis.
penis.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's a
think
bad
that's
word.
used in
Okay,
there.
great.
When I was
E.T.
7, it is. No, I
Did they
hate
say
ET.
penis?
ET is the worst. They do say that, penis breath.
Did you say hated to?
Yeah, too sad.
Well,
I know you do.
wanna-
I know you do.
wanna
And
see
no
it.
one's here to see
I wanna
the
see a
kids and
large cartoon
Rob.
apple fall on your head right
Brennan, if you don't see me after this episode, it was Tim. This movie for me, I was still at a phase of my life when I was 7 that I was watching like Mr. Rogers and like The Little Prince and like Belle and Sebastian. Like I had a very clean TV and film background at this point. But my friend owned the VHS to this movie, and she was even 2 years younger than me. I think realistically, it was on VHS already, so I probably watched it when I was like 9 or 10. But so scary, so graphic, so much blood. And so she and I used to get together, and I have the best memories of like curling up together on the couch, covering ourselves in all these blankets and pillows and like hiding in it. We would like peek through the pillows, like the slits of the pillows to watch it because it was way too scary. And again, if my kids I will never let my kids watch it until they're like 48 or something like that. But this is 19 somethings, I think maybe even 79. I don't even know. Monster Squad. When did Monster Squad come out?
80s, 85, 86?
85, exactly. So I must have watched this when I was probably 9 or so. But that was the content of this as a kid. I was like, I can never tell my parents. So it was kind of the first dip into like, I don't want to say a lie, but it's like what you and I were talking about, Tim, earlier. Like, I won't lie to anybody, but I do lies through omission. Tim does blatant lies. I lie through omission. So I didn't tell my parents I watched it. So there was a little bit of shame and guilt associated that if they knew that they would be disappointed at me. And I still watched it like 30 times.
I mean, it is a children's movie, so I think
The
that's-
Monster Squad?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's definitely not. It's like an R,
It's
I
a-
bet.
it's a PG-13.
Is it?
It is.
But still, I was 4 years too young,
Uh,
breaking rules
I
left and
see.
right. Man, really?
I would regard this as a kid's film. Yeah. I
No.
would.
You don't think this is so scary?
No, it's comedy.
Is it?
It's a comedy for children.
There's blood. The Dracula gets speared.
Remember how I just said that I sought out movies that had scary shit because they amused me? And
Fair.
Gore
Fair.
even more so. Again,
Oh,
I don't have Raiders on my list because I just talked about it.
That's true.
But this is what I would be talking about. Raiders. It's like that moment where the dude's face went off is like so funny.
Ugh.
I was 6.
and I, Brennan, have to
I
ask
think
if
that you were just too fragile. as a
I-
child, and I think you have
I think
raised
I
your
still am
daughter in
now.
fragility.
I think so too.
I'm saying,
it's too much
give
for
me
me.
your daughters for 6 months. I will
Yes.
give them a steady diet of Italian horror, and
Yes.
I will turn them to you as women.
I think that they would like that. I think they would be
I
on
think
board,
they would not.
especially
I think
especially
that-
my
I think
oldest.
that they would be quivering masses of tears within 10 minutes of spending time in my house.
They learn lots of new things. Brennan, as a horror lover, have you seen The Monster Squad?
Yeah. I did not see it until I was an adult. I saw it at the New Beverly in LA like 5 or 6 years
That'd be a
ago.
good place to see it.
It was a great place to see it. It's a very fun movie. It was written by Shane Black and directed by Fred Decker, who also directed Night of the Creeps, which is a movie I love.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monster Squad, it's super fun, it's super cute. It's definitely got that if you are watching a movie about preteen or teen boys in the 80s, it's got a nice piquant layer of homophobia in it.
Oh, it does?
Oh, of
and
course. They're
And how.
throwing around the F slur.
Oh, man, I didn't know that. See, I probably, as a kid, I didn't even know those words. Like I didn't even know what that meant. Like, there's probably so many things that you gloss over that you just don't even see when you're 8. It's a good place to be. Who knew? I don't know if I should
Oh.
rewatch it again. I don't know.
No, I mean, look, the thing is, if you're approaching a movie of that period that is in that subgenre, you just have to have your armor on for that kind of thing, because that's what's going to happen.
Mhm.
So I think it's worth mentioning that it's happening, but it didn't like ruin the movie for me, because it's like, well, there it is. There's also a very random reveal where the creepy neighbor is actually a Jew who survived the Holocaust. And he's like,
that's right. I forgot about that.
He's like, I have seen some monsters, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I didn't see again. This is why I'm afraid to rewatch. I'm sure all of this was just like, what is he doing? Like, I just would not have picked up on any of it.
Very useful teaching tool to teach the girls about the Holocaust.
That's true.
Show them that and double feature with the Schindler's List.
With the Schindler's List. Yeah. Okay. Just goals. I'm writing down lists left and right of things I need to do here. So that was my number 3.
Yes.
So that's your number 3, Tim.
My number 3. A movie that I remember being absolutely scandalized, Carrie, that you had never seen as a child. So I know this will not be any of us. Because you are of an age where I thought all of us had this movie just on repeat as kids, because certainly everyone I knew in college had that experience. This gets us, so I've had a library VHS, I've had a store-bought VHS, now here is a home recorded VHS.
Ooh, okay.
That I really wore out of this one. This is the 1987 fantasy comedy romance action adventure meta narrative, The Princess Bride.
Oh, I've seen it now.
I know you've seen it now.
Oh, yes.
I saw it as a child.
Oh,
And,
yes.
And exhausted that homebrew VHS tape.
What was it as a kid? Because I think I almost maybe enjoyed it more as an adult than I would have as a kid, I think. Like, what was it that drew you in as a kid?
Well, I hesitate to say, because it will make me seem like even more of a nerd than I am.
I don't think you can get much worse.
I would probably be inclined to say it was the Mark Knopfler score.
Yes. Yeah.
I enjoyed the sort of bouncy synths of it. I liked the super, super cheesy romantic ballad that plays over the end credits. And I mean, I liked the swashbuckling. I liked the comedy. I knew even then, even as a little 8-year-old, I knew that Wallace Shawn had it. Had a definable movie star quality.
Which one is he?
He's the little bald guy.
Oh, I thought you meant
like this.
I thought you meant like you knew romantically.
No.
Well,
it is bigger than romantic attraction. It is just like the sort of compendium of all the things that make someone a compelling screen presence.
So you just loved him
I think
coming
Wallace
out of that.
Shawn is just—he's one of the great movies.
Indespicable. Or wait, what does it say? Indisputable? Indespicable?
What?
What does he say?
What does he say?
Irrefutable.
I'm trying to remember the line now. It's
Inconceivable. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been watching Deep Space Nine, so when I think of Wallace Shawn, I just immediately think of him playing a Ferengi.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Bark!" And that's like a sort of thing that he says all the time on that show. So that's where I was at, but it took me a month before I got there.
Okay.
But no, so
Good
I like the
pick.
Wallace Shawn of it. I like the Mandy Patinkin. I like the mixture of kind of vaguely gross, but in a fairly neutered, kid-friendly way. It's one of those movies sort of calculated to have everything, like it's romance, it's adventure, it's action, it's monsters.
That's a good one.
It's Fred Savage, it's Peter Falk, another actor that was like, this guy's going places.
Did he?
And he died.
Oh.
He was very
Is that
old.
the older or the tall
That's the
man?
grandfather,
Oh. Who was the tall man?
Andre the Giant.
Yes.
He also died.
Ah,
A lot of people in that movie are dead now.
gosh.
Yeah.
That's too bad. So you know how Rob and I talked to the princess
Yes.
from that movie. Would you have been nervous to talk to her because of your affection for this movie? No, you don't have that kind of like thing. Okay. I mean, because if I ran into the Dracula from Monster Squad, I'd be like,
I mean,
can't talk to
Robin
you.
Wright has been in enough shitty movies that she has been brought down to earth.
Okay.
Like, well, you were the
Mhm.
conspirator. I no longer feel starstruck enough. So you were willing to attach your name to that turkey.
Okay. Well, good. I actually am really behind that pick. That's a very good one.
Yeah, no, this was one I really, again, wore out the tape, as they say.
Yeah,
Right.
and that one I would say is an intergenerational classic too. Like there's a lot of people my age and younger that are very into The Princess Bride. I've seen it multiple times because both of my parents love that movie, but for some reason it always slips out of my brain right after I'm done watching it, even though I enjoy it every time. So there's nothing that like sticks with me other than just Carol Kane existing, because I love Carol Kane so much.
I mean, Carol Kane, also the first time I encountered her, and not quite as important in my libidinous development as Wallace Shawn, but certainly way up there.
Yes, but yeah, so that's a great pick. My number 3, I don't know if it will end up on either your list. I think the only opportunity it has is Tim's list, but it did come out before any of us were born.
Okay.
It is the 1980 Zucker, Abrahams, and Zucker film Airplane.
That was a high school movie for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
same for me.
It's definitely it hits best at a high school age, but I think it is actually very appealing for kids because it has this kind of overstuffed gag every second approach. Where even if you don't understand the cultural references or some of the more adult references, there's something wacky going on that will capture your attention.
Yeah, and that's kind of the strategy. I actually had an opportunity to meet David Zucker this spring at the Wisconsin Film Festival. And he talked about how their strategy was basically like, if we just keep pumping jokes, it doesn't matter how many of them land because enough of them just have to, but the audience will think they had a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say at the time, because my parents showed me this movie, they did fast forward past the part where she simulates giving a blowjob to inflate the autopilot guy. But they never did quite manage to avoid me seeing the sequence of chaos in the airplane where a naked lady runs by in front of the frame. So sure I always saw that part.
Remember when you could have that in a PG rated movie?
Yeah, what a time.
It was better culture.
Oh yeah, but yeah. But yeah, no, just my favorite character is the guy, just the extremely wacky character who's like, there's a sale at Penny's. And I don't know, I he really appealed to me, but basically every other minute there's something I loved as a kid, and now as an adult I love even more things because I know what the fuck they're talking about.
Exactly. When you actually have like started to read up on all of the quantity of 70s cultural references involved. Like my favorite joke in the movie now is one that I could not get because it is based on a TV ad campaign that was already like 3 years older than the movie was.
Oh yeah, it's the coffee joke?
The coffee one, and specifically the callback. Jim never throws up at home.
Yeah, so good.
And I don't get it. Why does he throw up away from home?
There's an ad campaign where this couple is at another couple's house for after dinner coffees. And they said, hey, Jim, would you like a second coffee? He's like, I sure would. And it like cuts to the wife and she has like a pensive thought. She's like, Jim never asks for a second coffee at home. And it's because at home, she, being a dreadful shrewish housewife in the 70s, buys shit coffee.
Oh.
But they have like Sanka or whatever dreadful shit coffee is being advertised. Might be Maxwell House, I don't know. And so in the movie, the stewardess asks if he'd like a second coffee, and he says yes, and it cuts to her and she says, Jim never drinks coffee at home. And then he's got food poisoning later on, so he's vomiting.
Oh, okay.
And so it cuts back to her exact same like pensive facial expression. Jim never throws up at home. So again, it's not a joke really if you were born after like 1970, because you need to have it very heavily explained to you, but it's also really good.
Also, 5% of people get that joke.
Maybe.
But if you're one of those 5,
closer to like 70% got it when the movie was new.
Okay. But yeah, it's one of those things that if you do get it and it's small, that it feels like you're on an inside
and
track.
There's actually quite a lot of jokes like that that are sort of built around like TV commercials or TV shows from the 70s that nobody knows how.
I want to watch that now. Gosh.
Good picture.
That's the one where she says, is her name Harriet?
Maybe.
When they're flying the plane, my name's not Harriet.
Shirley.
Oh yeah, Shirley.
That's a little bit. Shirley, you can't be serious. No one would say Harriet, you can't be serious.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
I knew it was an old lady name.
Would you like me to explain where that's a joke? Because I'm not entirely sure that you get it.
No, I got it. Surely I do.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah.
But speaking of, that is a line that Leslie Nielsen says, and this movie completely uprooted his career and planted it in a totally different field, and that's where he lived until he passed away.
Until he passed away, and every single subsequent Leslie Nielsen comedy is a 5-star hit.
Agreed.
You know it. Gotta love Repossessed.
Gotta love Wrongfully Accused.
Good times. Anyway, so I think it's about time we take a break. But before we head to our break here, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. You can support us on Patreon, get early access and exclusive content, make us watch a movie, pick your own episode topic, and more from our Patreon site. Celebrating anniversaries this month, we got a bunch of people. We got Rocky Road Taylor and Urel, sorry. Urel, thank you. Gavin, David, P. Shazani, Will Patterson, and you might have heard of this one, Tim Brayton.
Oh, that reminds me. We should cancel that.
No, you don't, because you don't know how to get into Patreon without being a Patreon.
Well, no, because I don't even get into Patreon being a Patreon. I have to have you guys let me in.
But you need to pay your $1. You need to pay your $1.
But the dollar is just going back to me, so it's like I'm just paying myself
Exactly.
less than it's stupid.
Yeah, you're losing what, like 10 cents in the process?
Exactly. That's
All right.
10 cents amortized over the cost of how many years? That's like a coffee.
Fair.
And Carrie, do we have any new patrons we want to shout out?
Oh my gosh, we do. And Rob called me this morning and was like, Carrie, do it. Because I was like, I'm just gonna wait till you get back. Because I get nervous about saying people's names wrong, whatever. So I'm going to push my way through here. If I say it wrong, it's just me. So I'm gonna start off.
Remember the last time on the show you made some comment about people with non-anglophone names having silly sounding names, and I had to redeem your ass before everyone thought you were racist?
Yeah.
That was a good time.
That wasn't intentional though.
It was intentional on my end.
I know.
I did not want to get letters.
So we'll start off first with Robert Hill, who joined at the $5 level, which is the Razzie Award. Then we had Johnzilla, who's also joined, Johnzilla 2179 at the Holy Smokes Oscar level, which gets you so many things, movies, reviews, podcast topics, just the whole gamut of things. So welcome aboard. We have Thomas Stubbs, who joined at the $3 level, which is the Emmy
Yes.
Award level, because then you get access to TV reviews, and early access to classic movie reviews as well. Then we had Albie Hay, who also has joined. Did I already say Thomas Stubbs? Okay, good. We also had Albie Hay join at the Emmy Award level. Jacob Glicklich, who joined at the Razzie Award level. Better join the next movie club. Want to see you there. Then we also had, gosh, it's either Ian or Ian. IAN.
My guess would be Ian. I think
I'm going to go with Ian. Ian B. Jones, which just feels like a name I wish I had. Also at the $3 level.
Welsh name.
So solid. Just like rolls off the tongue. Then we had Micah Clark joining at the $12 level, which gets them access to one of Tim's very, very lengthy reviews. Then we also had, migrating up to the Razzie Award level, we had Liz Norris, who happens to be the person that regularly beats Tim at trivia. She is superb at trivia. It's really a remarkable thing. Then we also had Michael Robertson join at the Emmy Award level, access again to those TV reviews. And then Chris Lawrenson also wants those TV reviews and early access to reviews. And then last, but certainly not least, we have James P. I'm not going to even just try this last name. I'll say Proschult at the Critics' Choice level, also picking up one of Tim's reviews. Holy smokes. Again,
thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
A lot of names. Thank you all so much for joining. We will hopefully give you so much pleasure over the weeks and months to come.
We certainly will. And Tim, I know you said you've really actually been enjoying doing these X-Files reviews.
It's been fun to revisit the show. It's been fun to write reviews of something that I already know fairly well, so I don't have to like think about thoughts. I can just sort of vomit words. It's good.
Yeah, people are loving them too. But excited to also see what you have up next. Once you finish up X-Files, you're on to hopefully Friends. Hopefully Friends. Okay.
Maybe
we'll put it to a vote. So more to come there. But again, thank you for joining Patreon. You too can go out on the site and you can join, see what perks are out there, and sign right on up.
Yes, you can. And Carrie, do we have any new reviews of the podcast?
Woo, I thought I was going to just have like a moment there, and then jumping right back. It's back to me again. We do. And we have so many reviews that you guys have left and ratings that you guys have left. And we just also really appreciate that. We're feeling very life affirmed currently at the moment. So we've been overwhelmed by all that. But we also thank B Ziegler 99. And I want you guys to do me a favor and fill in the blank, because it's truncated on the reviews. Fill in the blank. This is like a word find. No, there is no word. So there's no word find. It's a Mad Lib. That's the word I was looking for. So B. Ziegler says, is Rob a super dad trapped inside ... A
V?
I mean, everything I can say is so
try to keep it clean. I'm going to challenge you to keep it clean, Tim. What is Rob a super dad trapped inside blank?
Well, is he a super dad? I mean, he's taking the children to Las Vegas, so that sounds pretty exciting.
That's true. He's a super dad this week for sure.
Is he like introducing them to the world of glorious debauchery that is Vegas?
It's fair.
Is he taking
It's
them to
possible.
some nudie shows?
Unknown. I hope not. But
So if
again,
he
it's
is a
just
super
bodies.
dad
It's
trapped
just
inside
bodies.
a loveless marriage. That would be my thought.
God's too close to home. It got so we're working on it, Tim.
Well, you weren't going to let me say a dirty word, so I
I
had to say something
know.
offensive.
All right, let's go back to the V. That sounds better. No, so thank you. The review, love the perspectives these three bring to the table. Great listen. So love when we see those reviews. They really mean a lot to us. So if you can go out there and drop one out there or just a rating too, that really goes a long way to help us out.
Absolutely. Another thing that goes a long way towards helping us out is buying some alternate ending merchandise. You can go to alternateending.com. There's a merch banner on the website now, so you can just click through to there and buy some shirts and mugs, right?
Yes, you can't. I actually wore mine to bed last night. My Don shirt, my hello, my name is Don.
Are we selling hats yet?
There's no hats, Tim.
Well, when I look at the
I don't know.
Well,
But
when we get
right
hats,
now
let me
it's
know.
a
I'll
mug.
buy a hat.
You
I'll
can get a
buy hat
baseball
for
tee.
sure.
You look so good in baseball tees. Okay.
I'm wearing a shirt with a logo on it right now, but that doesn't count. I need to do laundry.
Okay, that's fair. But yes, you can do that too. And then always go out there and tag us in those photos too. We love seeing what you purchased, what you found, and like what resonated the most with you. So go out there and do that from the site as well.
Wonderful. Also, I want to thank all our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing it is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com, click on our Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. Since our last episode, here are the things that were purchased. In beauty and grooming, we have men's mini hangnail squeeze snip nipper.
What?
Wow.
Wait, hang on. I just need it one more time.
Men's mini hangnail squeeze snip nipper.
I'm disappointed in my fellow men that we have our own snip nippers now. I just use nail trimmers to clean my hair.
Yeah, but this is to get your hangnails. You do too.
Yeah, you just got to be ginger about it.
Oh,
Yeah, and I just use
a real man. He's like a goddamn power saw, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And I just use a nip slipper, but that's a different thing.
I don't know what that is.
I mean,
that sounds dirty.
yeah, I don't know. I just made it up. Under books and textbooks, we have The Man Who Japed, which sounds like
sounds like he's probably using his snip nipper.
Yeah, a laugh-a-minute thrill ride. And we've got Hope, Human and Wild, True Stories of Living Lightly on the Earth.
Ooh.
In business and industrial supplies, we have a Rubbermaid commercial lacquered wood handle with threaded tip. Don't know what for. Imagine what you will.
Leave it, Tim. Leave it. Leave it.
We also have an Amcrest floodlight camera, smart home security situation.
Ooh, I want one of those.
So you can like make sure that
your car doesn't get broken into. Yeah.
To your front door.
You seem like the type of person that would have one. Do you have one of those?
No, I live in an apartment.
Yeah, but people can still come to your door.
Yeah.
No, they don't. All right.
I found it more exciting if they did.
Okay.
And theoretically, to pair with that, we have a collapsible rubber lens hood, so it might be in a rainy environment.
Interesting.
We also have a Ugreen USB 3.0 switch selector adapter hub for printer, scanner, mouse, many things. Great. Health and household, we have Dr. Frederick's original Better Blister bandages. We also have multi-surface furniture polish wipes. A pre-motor foam filter for Eureka Power Speed vacuums.
Wow.
We've got kitchen shears. We've got a 15 amp power adapter with 5 outlets. 100 watt
number of outlets. I like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of outlets. We got 100 watt LED light bulbs and Kindle books. Oh, okay. Finally, we got some Gavin stuff. We've got Becoming Elijah, Prophet of Transformation, parentheses, Jewish Lives. We also have The Conquest of Gaul. We have Bible Nation, the United States of Hobby Lobby. Oh, great. The Oxford Illustrated History of Witchcraft and Magic, and Grimoires, a history of magic books. We also have, in luxury and beauty, Body Glide, Skin Glide, Anti-Friction Cream.
Hey.
What would you use that for, though?
For reducing friction.
Oh, I know. Like you'd put it in your armpits in case you get rashes.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll go with that.
Do men get those?
I mean,
do you get rashes?
Not those
rashes,
no.
Just in general? Or are you talking about like shaving your armpit rashes?
No, like friction rashes.
Depends what I've been up to.
Well, like between your legs.
Depends what I've been up
No,
to.
you know what I was saying. Like, do men get the thing where you're like, between your legs, you get the rash like from rubbing, or is that just a woman
I
thing?
don't know what I'm up to.
Okay, let's move on from the friction cream. I'm gonna Google it later.
If you're trying to rub without friction, not a whole lot's going to happen. You need at least a little bit.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna Google that one later, but you go on, Brennan.
Yeah.
You should Google men rubbing themselves. So it'll be fine.
Mhm. We also had a Camelback 2-liter water reservoir. We got some pet food can lids. Okay, cool.
Oh.
We've got New Balance men's sneakers.
Cat food, you gotta,
Cover it up. It gets dry.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No worries. Well, we've got a his and hers. We've got some New Balance men's sneakers, and we've got Skechers women's slip-on mule sneakers.
Nice.
I like those
Nice.
slip-ons.
Yeah, and to round
You
it
don't have
out,
to- you can just be, you don't have to tie your shoes. You can be a lazy person.
Mm-hmm.
no, I
Somewhere
swear by slip-ons. I started wearing them to work during the pandemic because I was like, I don't want to touch anything ever, and it changed my life. But last but not least, in the Blu-ray and DVD section, we have the Mad Max 4-film anthology. We have Popeye. We have Deep End. We have The Watcher in the Woods. I think that's a Carrie fave, right?
It is, and it wasn't me. If it's you, people have been writing me when they rent a movie that they know that I love. I wouldn't be opposed to you writing me and telling me what you think about this movie. Anywhere you can find me.
And finally, we have a triple feature of Dead Girl, Screamers, The Hunting, and My Name is Bruce. I think that Brian Fowler bought that because I saw him log My Name is Bruce on Letterboxd. I think Screamers, The Hunting is the one that they threw in there just to make it 3. Anyway, support for Alternate Ending is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code ALTERNATE at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 8 million balls. So...
what was that code? Oh, I gotta back up. What was number one?
Alternate.
I think I heard you. Yeah, I know. But did you say, is it alternate? What's the code?
The code is alternate. All
So
caps.
All just
I
alternate.
also haven't
Okay.
yet. Just the code is alternate. You would use it at manscaped.com.
I see. Okay. I was caught off guard when you said jewels. I went black.
Jewels is a traditional euphemism for the genitals, for specifically the testicles.
I know, but I was laughing thinking about that term, and then I blacked out for the rest of the ad. Yeah,
Okay,
that was
if you-
really good, Brennan.
Thank you. Well, we're not done. So if you're gonna
no,
black out every
yeah.
time we mention testicles, this is gonna be a rough couple minutes for you.
Love it, love
Oh,
it.
thought it was over. Keep going.
So Tim, they sent you this
They
package that we're
did.
talking about.
I have not yet taken advantage of it. I was going on a romantic getaway trip, and I wanted to be good and thatchy, just to be like, sort of.
What is that, G?
Very, very dense thicket of.
You wanted a lot of
jungle
hair?
foliage, just while I was being lazy. Well, no, I was waiting to do our first read of this ad because I was going to bring some of the packaging in to recite it to you, Carrie, and see how uncomfortable it can make you feel. I did not realize we were pulling the trigger on the ad reads this week, so I don't have it with me. I will say there is a rejuvenating spray that you spray onto your
Jewels.
genital area.
Just let's say jewels. Let's say jewels.
Let us say your pendulous ball sack. And I believe it reduces friction.
Okay.
So there you go.
There you go.
It reduces friction. It lightens. It sort of removes some of the stank.
Okay. Do you have? I thought it was like a natural.
No.
I thought it naturally
I
cleans
am a
itself.
clean
What?
and very, very.
That's what they say.
Solid gentleman. No, I do not have a stank, but
Oh.
some filthier men do.
Okay.
And so this product had a warning on it not to spray the tip of your penis.
Mhm.
And now, as I feel, because I'm a natural contrarian, anytime I see a warning, I'm like, well, I want to do that now. So I'm like, well, what happens if I do spray it? Well, it's like, will it set it on fire? Will it feel like rubbing? Have you ever done the thing where you like have a hot pepper and then you go pee, but you forget to wash your hands? So you, like,
strangely, I have done that.
like you get hot pepper on your bits and pieces that
Yeah.
you would prefer not to.
It's happened to me once.
I'm wondering, would it be like that? Would it be like when you rub capsaicin on your dick tip? Is that like what it would feel like? And so now I'm like weirdly compelled to spray the spray.
Don't do it.
There.
Don't do
and
it.
see what happens. Will it fall off? I don't know.
I don't think you want to find out.
Yeah, I would also not recommend using a Clorox wipe before touching down there.
Oh
Okay.
God.
Well, now I want to now what I want to do is I want to take like Clorox wipes to like use
And do that too.
as like a
Like clean it down first, and then
Exactly.
use the spray
Like,
and just
use
see
that
if
in
it
your toilet.
completely shrivels
See what
away.
happens.
Okay.
Okay, I have a
now I'm
sto-
talking about my butt.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
I have a secondhand story I want to tell, but this is I'll wait until after the ad read so they don't make us apologize. But yes, the Performance Package 4.0 has arrived. Inside this package, you will find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance
I think
boxer
it's
briefs.
the Crop Reviver toner is the one that you're not supposed to spray on your penis tip.
Okay.
Correct.
So
Tell me more,
be
Brennan.
Sure,
Tell me
everyone knows
more.
to do that,
Mhm.
unless you're into that kind of thing. I'll
Yeah,
let you know because I'm going to try doing it. Just to see what
please. Yeah, we do need to know firsthand. Yeah, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. First off, the Lawnmower 4.0. It is the future of grooming and, dare I say, the greatest ball trimmer ever. Their fourth generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin safe technology. It is waterproof and also has a 400K LED spotlight if you need a more precise shave. Say that 5 times fast.
So like if you're trying to do this in the intimacy of your bedroom, you just like click on the light. It's kind
Exactly.
of, I like it.
You could
My
have your
vacuum cleaner actually has a little headlight on it for a similar reason.
I could see, Tim, why you'd need a spotlight to really like to see it, and a
No.
magnifying glass. No.
or you could do
Just
some
kidding.
like coal miner cosplay. Have your partner put on like a hard hat and turn on the light.
I like it.
Sweating.
Yeah, because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess on the bathroom floor. You thought that was good, but want to take your grooming game even further to the next level? The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. It is also waterproof and provides that proprietary skin safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate little nose holes of yours. Their Crop Preserver ball deodorant and Crop Reviver ball toner will change the way you approach your hygiene routine. Trust me when I say this, your balls will thank you. TM. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts into their performance package, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Bring your comfort and boxers to another level. Also, I will mention the boxers are designed to wear after you are shaving to reduce that.
Yes, they're like some sort of microfiber boxers that are meant to like take away the sweat from your newly raw skin.
Yeah, to avoid such rashes as Carrie was worried about earlier. And it's time to take care of yourself.
With ingrown hairs or something.
Okay.
So go to
You don't want ingrown
manscaped.com.
hairs on your ball sack, Carrie.
Tim,
It's a bad scene.
let the man get through this ball ad.
Yeah.
This is the content the listeners want.
Exactly.
I'm here for the
It is.
listeners.
It's got to have that AE flavor. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code alternate at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code alternate. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
I will
All
say
right.
I'm very excited to use the nose trimmer actually, much more so than the ball trimmer, because I have a nose trimmer that's no good, and I do have nose hairs. I will certainly be reporting back on that. Maybe we can-
Please.
maybe you can,
Likewise.
look up in there. Maybe,
I will.
do a class or something.
I will.
Yeah, and now that we are safely out of the ad, I want to tell this
Yes,
quick story.
Manscaped does not endorse what Brennan is about to say. Let's just make that very clear. This is
No.
Brennan going out on a limb with whatever insane, homophobic, racist, God knows what is about to come out of his mouth.
Exactly. So I knew someone in high school who, when he was pleasuring himself, used toothpaste as lubricant, and that is in
Toothpaste.
what?
Was it baking soda toothpaste?
No, I don't think so. Just
That's all gritty.
Oh, no,
I'm
not
sorry.
Oh,
I'm just
Well,
trying to
the-
make the story worse.
no.
Tell
no,
me the story, Brennan.
No, the story is bad because toothpaste is an extremely basic substance, which if you don't remember chemistry, that's basically the opposite of an acid, but it's just as bad for your skin as dumping lemon juice on your dick. And you did not want to see it afterward. Let me just say that.
Wait, did you see it?
Maybe.
I was gonna say, presumably everyone in the locker room was like, "Dude, let me look at that," and then it was like you went turned away.
Okay, just describe. I actually do need to know what it looked like. So, is it a rash situation? Is it inflamed? What happened?
Well, really, it depends on how your body reacts to extremely basic substances, but it is kind of like it looked like it was dumped in red tempera paint.
Oh, so irritated. It's
Yes,
irritated.
very much.
Tim's also going to try this when he gets home now.
No, but I might try lemon juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe I'll shave my ball sack and then dip my balls in lemon juice.
I got to tell you, I don't think most women do these things. We're not like,
Lemon cakes, well, you don't have a ball sack.
yeah, but you have other things you could spray.
That's
I could
true.
spray, if I saw a sign that said, don't spray this, external use only, or whatever, I wouldn't be like, I think I'm just
that's
going
not a
to
man thing.
dab
That's
it.
me being sort of irritable and not liking rules.
I see.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's horrifying. And I'm really, really excited to see where these ads go in the future as you guys start to have your experiences with these. I will let you all share as I step out, because
It's only fun if you're here.
I can feel
this is why I
myself
wanted to
cringing.
do this now, because you're going to be gone in the next couple episodes, and I wanted to be like, I'm only going to do this fun burn with you. I need to see your face. I need to see the just
Yes.
wash of beet red
Yeah,
shade.
it's there.
Over you.
It's there. The other thing, like I mentioned earlier about sending in those photos of purchasing merch, if you do happen to go out and use our link for this, please do not send us your before and after photos from your manscaping kits, but send those to timbrayton@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So
I do not have a Gmail, and if I did, that would not be my Gmail address.
I was trying to be secretive. Didn't
And-
you catch what I did?
If you are a person who ends up putting toothpaste on your dick, that Manscaped boxer situation might actually help you recover a little bit. So, think about it.
Carrie, you and I try to stay healthy, right?
I try to exercise most days. I eat a lot of egg whites and kale until about 4 p.m. And then I'm just chips and dip until bedtime.
Same. And like you, Care, packing all the healthy stuff in meals to try to reach my goals hasn't worked. And, I hate taking vitamins and pills.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, Athletic Greens AG1 has the answer. With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens to help start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy recovery, focus, and aging. All the things.
But here's the thing. It sounds great, but it also sounds like it tastes kind of healthy.
No, it actually tastes great, not healthy. It has a tropical flavor that makes me think of our upcoming trip to the Caribbean. And it will leave you feeling more alert and clear during the day. Also helps you get your Z's.
I can use all those things, but Rob, you also know I'm a little bit cheap. So how much would something like this set us back?
Care, it's cheap enough even for you.
Whoa!
AG1 is less than $3 a day, so you're investing in your health instead of that cold brew habit.
Okay, all right. Sign me up.
Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/emerging. That's EMERGING. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/emerging to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
And we're back. We're going to finish up with our number 2s, number 1s. No overlap so far. So let's see if we can rectify that. Carrie, what's your number 2 for top 5 childhood movies?
Number 2 for me shaped my view on relationships. This is what I wanted. In my life, I thought this was the ideal romance. And this is the one that I think is going to overlap with Tim because he said the word clamshell earlier. Buzzword, ding, ding, ding. This is my favorite, probably close to my favorite childhood animated movie of all time. And this is one, Eric and Ariel and Ursula and the crab named Sebastian, The Little Mermaid.
Okay.
You said clamshell earlier.
Well, that's because that's the name of the plastic case that all the Disney VHS tapes were used in.
Oh, I thought you were
Yeah.
doing a double entendre.
No,
No.
it would have been a double entendre, but I meant just a single entendre.
Oh,
Yeah, no, and also because I said it because I was that is the word used to describe those larger VHS cases that snap shut. But
Oh.
The Little Mermaid is my number 1.
It is.
It is. I watched
Dang.
that movie every day after school for probably 2 or 3 years.
Same. What was it about it that we were so compelled by? I haven't dissected it, but why do we love it so much?
I would certainly not say it was the relationship dynamics.
As a kid, it was. Now
yeah.
I look back, but as a kid, you're like, oh, star-crossed, like lovers, like they get together and they have a limitation of her having no voice. And now I see the problems with that. But as a kid, you didn't see it that way.
I didn't see it as a kid either. I think as a nascent gay, I still wasn't like, I didn't realize I was gay yet, but I certainly wasn't like modeling relationships for myself because I just wasn't thinking about that at that point. But this is where I started nursing my longtime love of the songwriting duo of Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, who provided the music for Little Mermaid, and they're spectacular, and their songs in this movie are spectacular for the most part.
What's your favorite one?
I mean, it's not an exciting answer. I love Part of Your World.
Same. Can you sing it from beginning to end, word for word?
Could I?
You could. If I get you started.
Probably. I think I could, but I think that would be, I don't think we need that 3-minute chunk of the episode
we won't.
to go.
Wouldn't you think
my collection's complete?
We'll do an outtake. We'll do an outtake of it later and see how far we get.
We'll do no such thing.
I want to sing it so bad right now. That's what I'm trying to push against that. But
at the time I was Under the Sea. Now I'm Kiss the Girl.
Oh, Kiss the Girl is so good.
Good counter melody.
What about Dosi Alves Clina? Do you like? Oh, it is. Oh, I don't know the titles. I just know how to sing them perfectly. I love all of their songs too. Everything about it, the energy, the positivity. I would say the only thing I didn't like about this movie, and I still don't, is the dad.
No. Oh, okay. Well, he's hot.
That's Mars.
I just thought when he gets mad, I have a conflict thing still as an adult, but like as a kid, it was even more severe where I couldn't handle like anger. And so when the dad gets really mad at her because she goes up to the surface, his eyes, they do something with his eyes and his face where he just looks so
look at
mad.
How much problems she causes because she won't listen to his very simple rules.
I'm not saying he wasn't right. Yeah, I'm not saying he wasn't right. It's just I feel like he could have handled it in a more calm way without going and destroying all of her thingamabobs and whatchamacallits and stuff. So Dinglehoppers, destroyed her Dinglehopper. So anyway, Brennan, when we do meet in person for the first time, we will watch this together and sing.
Absolutely.
This is my favorite.
Forgot we haven't met in person, and that's really weird.
Doesn't it feel like we have? Have you met Rob in person?
No, not yet. Only Tim.
Oh, okay. He's actually going to be in.
Well, we don't have to talk about specifics.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I have talked to Rob about that.
Okay. So yes, when we do, and we will, this is what we'll watch, and Tim will come too. So
I do every time I watch the
this
was definitely a childhood favorite of mine.
Were you into Ariel?
No, I just liked. I never found cartoons sexually attractive. I don't get that. But I did watch this movie a lot. None of them.
Oh, I did.
Not Flynn Rider from Tangled?
Certainly not.
Oh, yeah, for sure, Flynn.
He has the terrible facial hair. I do not.
You didn't like Eric?
I know.
Oh, he's so handsome.
I find cartoon characters attractive.
Gosh, I do.
It's just that I find that vaguely unsettling when people do. Anyway, I genuinely could have done my top 5 using nothing but Disney films.
Yes.
Because I watched them all over the place, but that was going to be boring. There's only one Disney film in my top 5, and it is my number 2.
Yeah, let's hear it.
And it is a film that I was just beyond obsessed with. It got re-released, I think for the first time in my life in 1983, and I probably was taken to see it at that point. I, of course, was about a year and a half old, don't remember it. Got re-released again in 1987, an anniversary re-release, and I know for a fact I saw it 6 times that year. Then got re-released again in 1993. I think I saw it 2 or 3 times that year. Crazy about this film, watched it every opportunity I could, which back in those pre-VHS days was a bit tricky, especially because Disney was really reluctant to put this film on VHS, being as it was the crown jewel of their canon, their very first feature-length film, 1937's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which it would have that sort of allure of the unattainable because they never showed it on the Disney Channel, so you couldn't record it, and it was not released on VHS. I think it was one of the very last films they finally released on VHS in the mid-90s. So it was hard to lay hands on it, so it had this kind of special aura of like it's the one that they make you work for, they make you wait for it. You have to go see it in special occasions. And even now, I think it's one of their very best films. Great songs, great animation, great characters. really just very appealing fairy tale. One of the times that Disney did the best job of sort of capturing the weird, like placeless, timeless feeling of a fairy tale, and I think I responded to it then. I know I respond to it now. But no, I was just massively obsessed with this movie as a child.
Is this the one that we've all seen? Are you talking about the one where the gal with the black hair and there's animals in the forest that she talks to? That was in the 30s? I would have never guessed it was that old.
Yep.
That must have been mind-blowing at the time.
It was the highest grossing film ever made for a very short period of time. It was almost immediately passed by Gone with the Wind, but for like 12 months.
Gosh, I would have never guessed.
For many people, and especially young people, it's the only movie from the 1930s that they've seen.
Oh, well, I mean, there's also Wizard of Oz, though. People see Wizard of Oz still, right?
Oh, no, I guess you're right. Yeah, Wizard of Oz.
Maybe.
But at least one of the 5.
Yes, one of the 2 or 3. Maybe King Kong is on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your number 2, right?
That's my number 2.
Is that Brennan to your number 2?
Yeah, let's do it. Tim, you predicted it. It's X2, X-Men United from 2003.
You're fucking kidding me.
I am not kidding you. I loved the X-Men. I was obsessed. I was never a comics person, but this convinced me to buy a couple X-Men comics, and I bought a whole like encyclopedia of like, all the characters. So I know a lot about X-Men, even though I haven't read the comics because it still didn't work to get me into comics. But this was, I got into that starting with the first X-Men, which I believe was 2000 or 2001. But X2 is just such a across the board improvement. My first nascent gay crush was in this movie. Shawn Ashmore as Iceman in this movie was like really like lighting me up like a pinball machine in ways that I didn't understand at the time, where I was like, what a good actor he is. But also just a generally pretty incredible cast for this kind of like live action superhero movie. You got the Hugh Jackman, you got the Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler. It's a good ensemble. And yeah, it's a fun action movie on top of it.
We've just started these, Brennan. So as you guys all know, Rob has put our lives on hold for it's almost a year now, going through all of the Marvel movies. And I started towards the end to just be like, no more. And then I struggle because the kids will be like, are you going to watch with us? Because I put my foot down sometimes and like, I'm not watching Thor 10 or whatever it is. But then when they're like, you're going to miss it, I'm like, oh, fine. So like I end up like, I've watched so many superhero comic books or whatever. I thought it was over. We like finished it. And then one night they're like, it's movie night. And they're like, we're starting X-Men now. And I'm like, God damn it. I don't want to watch these.
I have in the last couple of days started watching every single Charlie Chaplin short one a day. And you should tell Rob that that's a much more
I'll come with you
appropriate use of his time.
instead. Yeah, I'm on overload, but I will agree with you, Brennan. Shawn Ashmore also works for me. I think he's adorable and cute. And in that movie, I like his little vibe that he has with, is it Rogue?
Rogue is in this movie.
Yeah, I think that's, with Anna Paquin.
Anna Paquin, yeah. I feel like they've got a little thing going on that works for me. I actually don't hate the X-Men movies. I actually think they're pretty good.
I'm so glad.
I quite like X2. I just hate that you're young.
Oh, yeah, no, it's envy. So this is envy talking. I see.
Oh, I knew that.
I could drink alcohol the first time that I saw X2.
Yeah.
Legally drink alcohol.
Huh. Interesting. Brennan was unavailable for comment. But yeah, no, Shawn Ashmore kind of followed me throughout my childhood as well, because he was the lead in. Well, no, but he was the lead in the Animorphs TV series, and those were like my favorite books at the time. And then when I got into horror, my favorite book now, but especially my favorite horror book, is The Ruins by Scott Smith, and he was in the so-so film adaptation of that movie. So I grew up with him, and he lives in my heart.
That I can forgive that then, because when you're like, you had your first gay awakening to a movie in which both Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen are in the cast, and it's not to one of them, and I'm like, I don't know
was that. Patrick Stewart your awakening?
No.
Oh.
Look, Patrick Stewart's a very attractive man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tim, when you're 9, people of that age are unfathomably old to you. It's like looking at
McKellen is
Methuselah.
pure sex and always will be till the day he's put in the cold ground.
Did you say Ian McKellen?
Yes.
Isn't that Gandalf?
Yes.
Okay.
Gandalf could get it.
You love those older men.
Well, Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
Everyone loves
Really
Ian
do.
McKellen.
I mean, yeah, he works for me too. So
I don't know if he's my type, but I do love the stories of him while filming Lord of the Rings, just having this revolving door of boys coming in and out of his hotel room.
Oh, he did?
Supposedly.
Is Ian McKellen gay?
Yeah.
Very.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh. Who knew?
Everyone.
Oh. I don't know. I didn't know that. Okay. Well, I guess he's not in, my chances are slimmer now, but am I at my number one already?
Carrie number one.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. All right. This is the one for me that shaped my sense of humor, which is an acquired taste for those around me. This is the movie that my whole life I looked to. I've seen it a million times. Like as a kid, I couldn't hear the word gas. Like even if it was used in the context of like, I'm going to get gas at the gas station, I'd be like, hee hee. Like
to be fair, I think we should all be able to continue to do that even.
I do now. Oh no, I do now. I'm still the same person as I was then, but like I couldn't hear like, oh, you know what? That's a cedar tree. I'd be like
Okay, okay. Since you brought it up, the cedar thing, that is the wildest Midwest. Like,
oh, that's right. That's what you call a butt.
That's a
I
butt.
forgot about that.
It's a cedar.
No one but
like-
you does that.
like
Nope.
cedar, like it's your seat.
Cedar like a tree. It's spelled C. Oh, you know what? Is that right?
I don't know. It's not
It
a
has
word
to
I
be.
use.
It has to be.
I've always pictured it at like my mom as a kid would be like, sit down on your cedar. And now that I've always pictured it CEDAR. And
Carrie,
until this moment,
what the
Brennan,
fuck?
I swear to you, I've never thought about it being
My soul
cedar.
has just transcended out of my body.
Just
and
in this
is going to
moment.
ascend to a higher plane, and I'm never coming back to life. for the
This
rest
is
of
a
the time.
revelation, Brennan. This is a revelation. My cedar. Because I'm
I'm
sitting
gonna
on
start
it.
crying from pure joy. I'm literally like welling up with tears. I'm so like overwhelmed by the Carrie-ness of what's going on right now.
I'm calling my mom after this. I'm getting her on the line. She's going to be a live
Okay.
dial in.
Yeah,
I
well-
wonder if she knew. I don't know.
Of course she
when
did.
You used that strange and inexplicable word a couple weeks ago. I heard SEATER.
Oh gosh, I just always
Yeah.
thought about a tree.
Although I did on my vacation, I did hike a trail called Red Cedar Falls, and I almost sent you a picture of the trailhead sign.
And it's the first thing you thought of, wasn't it? Yeah, it's really remarkable. So that's the kind of benchmark humor though that I'm coming from. The most important part of my life is laughter and humor in work, in my personal life, in everything with family and friends. So this is the one that for me shaped it. And this is again, my favorite or one of my favorite actors of all time at the helm of the humor in this movie. And this is one Mrs. Doubtfire. And I'll live by it and stand by it that it's like top movie of all time. I love it.
This makes sense. Yeah.
Is it?
I'm
This
not
is
over
it.
the cedar thing.
This is-
I'm just not even close to over.
Do you know who would get it? Robin Williams, if he was still with
No,
us.
I mean it's not a matter of get it.
Oh,
It's that you've lived on this planet for 38 years and
Yeah.
you thought it was spelled CEDAR.
yeah. I've probably misspelled it in
I-
all my letters I've written.
I'm touching the face of God right now. I have left this mortal coil. My body has become a shell.
Here's the thing. If you can live like me, think about all the little joys that happen along the way.
I'm having one of them right now.
Yeah. See,
assure
come
you.
along with me and there'll be more
This is
like
Doubtfire.
this.
Good
These
pick.
revelations.
Very characteristic pick.
Although,
Number one, it's the best.
this really does explain to me why a lot of Tim's double entendres go over your head, because you're really operating in this completely different kind of corn-fed world of what bad words even are.
I think that's fair. I think I'm at a deficit because usually there's a laugh where I know what Tim's talking about. And then there's a laugh where I'm like, I should know what you're talking about. They're very different things. And I'd call it, if I did the numbers, 50-50, maybe 60-40. that I really follow what you're talking about.
I mean, my body is one with all things. I am part of the great flow of the universe. I just have nothing left. I am completely
Tim is spent.
run out.
He said, so this is Mrs. Doubtfire. If you've missed it, this too can shape your perspective on life and
like,
humor.
When you're reading the Bible
Mhm.
and there's a reference to the cedars of Lebanon.
Yep. Picture in my butt
And
the whole
I
time.
feel like I've been born again into the risen Christ. My number one is Mary Poppins. I don't have anything to say. Okay, so let me get back there. So I watch this movie a lot, and this is again recorded it off the Disney Channel. So there's the VHS "How often do I watch it" thing. I know I said there's only going to be one Disney movie, but this is the live action animated hybrid, so I'm counting it. And this is just one of those movies that combine all the things I wanted movies to have when I was a child. It has animation, not very much, but some. It has lots of music. I was always really cranky about watching films that weren't musicals for some reason.
Still,
it has less so, but I still prefer musicals. Obviously, I mean, I'm a man of taste. But has a scary moment, and when the kids are running around London and they meet the like old hobo lady. I always freaked out by that because she was dirty, and I was like, apparently that made her go witch. I don't know, I was a child. Has Julie Andrews, who's just such a calming, wonderful screen presence, and yeah, this is a movie that I think holds up extraordinarily well. I think this is genuinely one of Disney's best films, period. One of the best films of the '60s, period. One of the best original movie musicals. I mean, I could go on and on. But this is a movie that I think definitely landed its hooks in me at a very, very young age and never ever let up. And unlike some other movies where I stepped away from them and then came back and was very relieved to find, oh, this is still a good movie that I liked as a child. I never stepped away from Mary Poppins. I don't think there's ever been a 4-year period of my life where I haven't watched it at least once. So
that's so lovely.
Very a movie that very much has grown up with me, and I love it.
Good picks all around. And I stole yours, Brennan. I'm sorry again.
No, that's
You're number
one. Yeah, I totally agree. I think
You need a
we should.
timeout?
What?
Brennan, did you do your number 3?
Yeah, it was Airplane.
Airplane.
Okay. Don't forget this, Brennan. You got to cut this one into.
Cut what in?
Just remove this part
Tim's
from your-
removing Tim's timeout.
Oh, we'll see.
We'll see.
Cutting in is a different thing than cutting out. Just for
Or
the
sorry,
record.
editing out. Editing out.
I was like, am I putting this somewhere else? But yes, unless you have anything else you want to say about Mary Poppins, I can share the top 5 from our listeners.
What do you guys think about Mary Poppins? Did you like it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
What about you?
No, it is a movie that I like. It's not a movie that has that same like pillar of nostalgia for me. I don't know why. It's just not one that it's one that I've seen multiple times and can freely and easily recall moments from. I definitely loved the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious sequence, and that's the one that I think as a kid really sparkled for me.
Because even as a kid, I was the young version of who I would grow up to be. For me, it was always with the birds because it was sad.
Of course. I also always think whenever it's a really windy day, I think about the opening sequence of that movie as well.
I think of Winnie the Pooh when it's a windy day.
That too. I mean, I'll alternate, but or if it's like windy and cloudy. Anyway, do you want to hear the top 5 from
Yes,
people
tell us.
from commenters on the website? So, people had a lot of different sequels and franchises, so some of them I kind of just compressed. But at number 5, we have kind of a combo of American Tail and American Tail Fievel Goes West.
Ooh, that's a good one.
American Tail was on a regular part of my rotation, but I always liked Land Before Time better.
Ooh, I actually have not seen either of them, so I got to catch up. At number 4, we have various Indiana Jones titles. So that would have lined up with both of yours if you'd been including
Slightly
them.
older.
If we'd been honest rather than trying to seem cool.
Exactly.
For number 3, we have a tie between Jurassic Park and the original Star Wars. For number 2, of all the Disney ones, the one that had the most overlap is 1992's Aladdin, which surprised me.
Oh, I forgot. I loved Aladdin. That also shaped my romance
is good,
too.
but I think Aladdin never would have made my top 5.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it just hit at the exact right time for our demographic.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, Dumbo was really super up there. Obviously, Snow White, which made the list, was up there. It's probably been the big two. So the ones that came out when I was a kid.
Yeah, Dumbo when you were a kid. Number one is various entries in the Land Before Time franchise. So
Interesting.
You guys are animals, just animals. Gosh.
I want to meet the people who were like Land Before Time 14 was my favorite film as a child.
I think someone said 9. So I think that's as far as we got. But yeah, do either of you have a kind of categorized list of runners up that you want to just throw out some titles?
Well, I already said Raiders of the Lost Ark. Certainly, if I were not limiting myself to one Disney film, as I just said, Dumbo would have been there. Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid. Ironically, neither of my two current Disney films, Pinocchio and Bambi, I was not a huge fan of either of those as a child because they're both kind of slow and weird. Bambi's not weird, but it's very slow. But those are my two favorites now, but not at the time.
Interesting picks. And I do not have runners up, but you know what I do have? Did you pick a winner for this week, Brennan?
Yes.
Oh, good, because I did too. But let's go with yours.
Oh, you did? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go. I bet yours is better because what I ended up doing was like closing my eyes and pointing, which isn't as fair as what you did.
Exactly. So the winner this week is Caleb. Here is what Caleb put. He said, since my answers varied at various ages, I'm going to go with 4 faves from different developmental stages, plus the closest thing to my overall favorite childhood movie at number 1. So from ages 0 through 4, we have Beauty and the Beast. 5 through 8, we have Hook, tying in with Carrie. 9 through 12, we have The Emperor's New Groove, which was on my long list.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that because I was a college freshman.
13 through 16 is The Iron Giant, and then overall is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And if his kid self picked one, it would be The Return of the King.
I have not seen The Return of the King. Is that good?
What?
I'm again having an associative moment because the thing I did on the first time I ever legally bought alcohol was then to go see Lord of the Rings 2.
Oh.
So I'm just feeling like a decaying mummy. When I stand up in this computer, I'm just going to collapse into a pile of dust, ash, and bone.
You know what? After this, we're going to go for a nice walk. Afterwards,
I don't think my knees
get
can
some
handle
fresh
it.
air. I'm going to get you a nice tuna and chicken salad plate on a bed of lettuce.
Put me in a chair with like one of those blankets over me.
Yes.
And a little parasol.
We will. We're going to have a
So
good
the sun
time.
Can stay off of my withered, liver spotted flesh.
We're going to have a good time, Tim.
Anyway, real quick, my runners up. I cut 2 because I decided on my.
Congratulations! I'm having your balls drop finally.
No resentment coming from this room. No resentment. Excited for Caleb for winning though.
Exactly. Congrats to Caleb. You can reach out to contact@alternateending.com to collect. But yeah, for me, my runners up, I cut 2 because I decided on my cutoff being slightly earlier. So those would have been Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire and Mamma Mia. But my other ones that
Goblet of Fire came out of a blog.
What?
I blogged about it. It was on my blog.
Yeah,
Tim, you're aging well.
I am not. I'm old. I'm going to decay.
I know. I
die.
think mentally you're aging well.
I don't believe that is the case.
All right, trying to make you feel better.
Nothing will make me feel better.
Anyway, my other ones from within my purview would have been Lilo and Stitch, Pokemon, the first movie, and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Good ones.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory always really unsettled me.
Yeah, me too.
Actually watch it that often as a child.
I didn't either. Too scary. But I understand why people have it on
I
their
understand
list.
people adore it as a child.
Yes.
It just didn't click.
Well, yeah, no, see, I had a little bit of that horror spark in me too. That boat scene is wild.
It is.
But anyway, so thank you so much for everyone who listened. Follow us on social media. You can find us on our Facebook page, like it, follow us on Twitter. We're tweeting all the time. Instagram, alternateending.com. You can find more of Tim's reviews, my reviews, more podcasts, everything over there. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google. Make sure to give us a review. And don't forget Patreon. Do we know what's going on next week? Can we tease people, or is it?
Do we even know what assemblage of human beings will be involved at this point?
We'll catch you next week. It's going to be an episode of Pass the Popcorn.
There will be an episode.
There will be people there.
People talking
about movies.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
But thank you, Brennan,
no problem.
for helping us through this time of ordeals.
You're so welcome. I'm always here to help. We're gonna I needed to practice because I think I'm gonna be filling in for Rob a little more in August when they start filming their first segment for Hauntology as well. So I gotta cut my teeth on a main episode.
That's right.
Anyway,
And I think you can have cut it off. Like there was something you said like 30 seconds ago. So I think you could just end it there.
Well, I did want to make sure that we got a thank you, Brennan, on the air.
Yeah. But then I think you could cut it off earlier though. Yeah.
Well, now you gotta cut this part off.
Yeah.
That's weird.
well, what if I cut it in? Okay, bye everybody.
Hi.
Bye.
But really, let's cut it like 30 seconds ago.
No, I'm cutting it right here.
No.